Okay, what you see in back of me here, we got really good lighting for this. This is the water wheel. This is how these mills would have been powered back then. Around the 1830s, these buildings were constructed. Now these were served for only one purpose, these buildings along the Brandywine. Their purpose was to spin these barrels that we saw in a previous video. Now these big rollers went around in circles, Now they would be located in these buildings behind me. This building right here and this building right here. Two of these barrels, rotating barrels, would be controlled by one water wheel, which is in back of me. Now, what controls this water wheel? Now, right behind me, there's a race. It's called a mill race. A mill race is just a source of water. It's higher than the Brandywine. The water here is higher than the Brandywine in back of me. Now, gravity's going to take this water and flow it through this general area here. It's going to get picked up by this water wheel here. Now the water wheel is designed with buckets. A water wheel has tiny buckets on each end. There's about maybe 40 different buckets. The water enters these buckets, it's heavier, and pushes the wheel down. As the water goes in, pushes the wheel down. Now as the wheel rotates, it spills the water out on the other end. Now wheels like this, back in the 1840s, and possibly during the Revolutionary War time, powered America. These powered America. This is what basically, you know, the grain mills, things like that. This ground flour, these wheels. These wheels work different types of lathes that would make different types of machinery. These wheels even crushed gunpowder. These wheels did everything. It wasn't until the time of the Industrial Revolution during the 1900s, around 1910, possibly around 1900, that turbines came in. They were a little different. Turbines brought water in the same way, but it spun a disc inside of a cylinder. And that did control whatever it was trying to control at the time. Now, water wheels were the heart of America. This is an example that's been restored. It's been beautifully restored. It shows exactly what this would have looked like. It would have went around like this and powered these machines. Now what we hear today is the meandering of the Brandywine behind me, and you basically just not even hear this water wheel. This wouldn't have been like it would have been. There would have been a lot of noise inside these buildings. You would have these things rotating. You'd have people screaming, talking, throwing powder, charcoal, saltpeter into this mix. When all this rock, because saltpeter and charcoal, it's in rock form, it would be thrown into a big barrel and it dumped in and be crushed. It would go around and around. There'd be a lot of noise in here. There'd be a lot of confusion if something was going on. Now after it was done here, this was the first step in making gunpowder, was to crush it into a paste. Basically, when you crush these rocks, it turned into a quagmire of different, it was kind of wet. It looked like cake today, a brownie. If you make brownies, you'll know the consistency of brownies. That's why what the gunpowder was like. So there was different steps that had to be taken to make this gunpowder into the form that was used in cannons and shotguns and rifles. But I just really enjoyed looking at this water wheel because you don't see too many of these. A lot of these are not operable. You know, there's things that you don't see, and this is one of them. If you ever go to Hopewell Furnaces, you'll see a big water wheel there. Now what that water wheel did was different. Water wheels, like I said, powered everything. That water wheel at Hopewell Furnaces, it controlled the bellows back and forth to push oxygen into a furnace, a blast furnace, to make iron. So these wheels were used for everything. Anything you could think of that needed power. It wasn't just basically a horse going around and around and around. It was these that powered America. And right now they sit idle now, but this one still works. And this is what would have powered America. And DuPont used these to his advantage. So I'm glad to see this still running.